Welcome back. Now we know that private universities in Nigeria have grown rapidly, over the years, and it's, seen as a safer and more disciplined alternative, compared to public institutions. However, conversations are emerging about, the real quality of teaching and learning in these schools. Now, joining us this morning to talk on this is Professor Christian Anieke. He's the Vice Chancellor, Godfrey Okoye University in Enugu. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Professor. You're welcome.
How are you today?
I'm alive. I'm alive. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Now we see that many parents spend quite a lot sending their children to private universities, hoping for quality education and the like. Now, from your experience, would you say that these private institutions are living up to that promise of quality, better environment and education?
Well, I have not done any research on private universities and quality. I can only talk about my own university and a few others I know. So I can't speak for all private universities. All I do know is that it's private universities provide space for doing things differently. When we started Godfrey Okoye University, for example, asked ourselves, look, do you want to add to the number of universities we have in Nigeria, or do you want to do things differently? And it was very clear to us in our philosophy, mission, and vision that we actually want to do things differently. It's space for doing things differently. You are not encumbered by the bureaucracy of public institutions. You are not encumbered by lack of discipline. You can define what you want and you push it through. And that's precisely what we're doing in our private university space. And by the way, we are not really private. We are mission university. There's a distinction between the private and mission institutions. Our university belongs to Catholic Diocese of Enugu, and as a mission, there may be strictly private university. There are strictly private universities that belong to an individual. This is not the case with our own, but of course we put everything under the basket of private universities. Strictly speaking, we are not private. We are mission university with the values of the Catholic Church and all that. So doing things differently, that is actually the ambition. Do it decently. If you ask again, I may want to go into details, but I will stop if you want me to stop now.
Okay, so as you're talking about GO, that is Godfrey Okoye University, yes, I would like you to tell us what makes Godfrey Okoye University stand out.
Well, yeah, it is, like I said, proper definition of what you want. We have, as the motto of our university, unity of knowledge. I studied in Austria and in the UK, and it was very clear to me that you could be educated, but just educated in one thing. There is a German expression that is Fachtrottel. And Fachtrottel is somebody who knows just one thing and nothing else. Don't ask him or her any other thing, just this thing. That's it. You're an expert in one thing. So I said to myself as a student, it cannot be education, that you just know one thing, you're an expert in one thing, and you don't have social relationship, you don't have emotional connection with people, and all that. You don't have spiritual depth and just know one thing. I said, good education must be holistic. It must be being an expert in one thing and knowing a bit of other things. And that's what informed the idea of unity of knowledge. Knowledge is connected in one way or the other. There is a connection between mathematics and poetry. There's a connection between poetry and the information technology. There's a connection between information technology and physics and all. Everything it's one thing that we're looking for, the truth.
Yes.
The truth is what connects all areas of knowledge. And that's what we're pushing in Godfrey Okoye University with our interdisciplinary approach to studies. And also again, that I thought about, and with the team, at the beginning, is why is it that a young person goes to learn tailoring, for example, or trading, or whatever it is, and after 2 years or 3 years, he or she can actually begin the job and even provide employment.
Of course.
And somebody will spend 4 years at university, 5 years at university, and 6 years at university, and will not be able to find a job, will not be able to provide a job. So this cannot be education. Education that doesn't satisfy your need to survive is not good for you. So that's why we brought in entrepreneurship, not just as a directive, but as something that goes into whatever we're doing, into our curriculum, into our evaluation, into our assessment. Everything is connected with it. So what does this mean? It means that the emphasis is on employment, not on studies. In other words, what skills are you getting from what you're doing? The first one I asked you, if you tell me I want to study, what do you want to do with it? And if I have the feeling that you don't even know what you're going to do with it, I'll say, please, why don't you consider studying something else? Okay? So what is it? What are the skills? So you must give students skills. It's not about passing exams, it's about having skills.
Of course.
So that when they graduate, they will find jobs or they create jobs. Some want to work for others, some don't want to work for others. If they don't want to work for other people, then they have to be able to create their own job, as people do when they have learned mechanic, whatever repairs, and carpentry and tailoring. They are not looking for jobs. They provide their own job and even employ people. That's what we must be doing in our universities. And this informed our first town and gown assembly, the first of its kind in Nigeria. We invited people from Enugu, Nigeria, different areas. Come and tell us how you are doing your work. Come and tell us the challenges, so that when we are teaching, we are conscious of your challenges, and we do our research in line with your challenges. We don't want to have projects that are lying in the libraries. Nobody is reading them. Nobody wants them. Our students are asked to write them, and they put them in the library, and they are filled with dust, and they create problems, environmental challenges. We don't want that. We want to do something that is relevant to society.
Yes.
So that's it. So we had that, and it was quite informative. And we have been working along the lines of the challenges, the problems they raised, and that is it. This explains why most graduates of Godfrey University get jobs when they graduate, or they create jobs. Because I have said, you have not succeeded as a university until your students get jobs. It is not that passing and finishing and all that and joining the long queue of job seekers. No, it is the number of your students who get jobs. That's actually a success as a university.
Exactly.
That's it.
Now, you've spoken about, it's not just about learning, but what you use that knowledge, at the end of the day. Now, let's talk about quality teaching. When we talk about that, we know that it's not just about lecturers having degrees, but also it includes their teaching methods as well. So how innovative and engaging would you say that, your lecturers in Godfrey Okoye are when it comes to their teaching methods and how they impact knowledge on the students?
Thank you. I think we are moving away gradually from lecturing. I don't like to use the word lecturer anymore, because that is deceptive. Teacher. You're a teacher, basically a teacher. So we must be teaching at university. And teaching involves a lot of methods. Lecturing method is just one. Okay? You have demonstration method, you have project method, you have playway method, and all that. These are all for teaching. We are emphasizing that, so that nobody comes to the classroom and stands writing nonsense, on the board. Okay? You teach the students, you engage them, they ask questions. So we'll move around to assess our lecturers. Okay? We'll move around. They're not just telling you, after every year we begin with workshops, reminding you of how to teach. To bring in experts in teaching, reminding you. Of course, some will hear and move away, but then we have a mechanism for monitoring. Our lectures are just open space. You can enter any lecture hall or any teaching classroom. You can enter and sit down. Sometimes I enter a classroom and sit down. Okay, and I listen to my teachers talk to the students. And if you are not doing well, I'll invite you for a cup of tea. I know what I mean, okay? No, that's it. So it is emphasis on teaching that is making all the difference. I can tell you that we have a good number of teachers in the university, those who teach, and the students will normally assess you at the end of the academic year. Okay. If the assessment is negative, then we thank you for the job you have done, but you may never continue in our university. No. Okay? And that's it. So it's not just our students. We allow the students to assess the methods we use in teaching them and all that. And that's we expect. So it's all about teaching now. Besides, we have a generation, Gen Z. Gen Z has entered the university. And Gen Z is a generation of virtual life, online life and all that. So we must engage them in what they know. So sometimes, don't tell them not to come to class with their phone, because they will come to class with their phone. So engage them in their phone. Sometimes say, click, look up this word. All of you, look up this word, my friend. And then before you know it, they give you the word and all that. So you use, so there are those who also want to know why they have to learn something. That's Gen Z. Why do I have to learn this? Remember, their whole life is about solution to things. They give them something and they find a solution. So engage them with that mentality, and that's it. So we try to continue to fine-tune. Of course, for older lecturers, it's challenging, but it's challenging.
But just to ask another question on this, I mean, most of the lecturers in your university, and I would say in most of the other mission and private universities, also come from the same pool as public institutions. So would you say that, and you know, the teaching and learning method in public institutions also may look a bit different. So would you say that this is also affecting the teaching style delivery in any way?
It is, but when you look at the team at Godfrey Okoye University, see that most of them are not from public space, public institutions. We are getting our own young lecturers. At the beginning, yes, because you didn't have your own lecturers. But now we have our own professors, groomed in Godfrey Okoye University, professors of Godfrey Okoye University, we have them. And these are those who are pushing it. You have the older ones, of course, there will be. But I also see the desire among the older ones who spent all their life in public institutions, the desire to change. I see that also. That they are also participating in the workshops and learning. You are never too old to learn, I've said. If you think you can no longer learn, then die. You have done your job on earth, okay? Yeah. Once you have the feeling you can no longer learn something, then it's time to die. It's time to be born and time to die. But I believe that nobody can say he or she is too old to learn. You can always. I have friends. Look at Obasanjo. He did his PhD after being president of Nigeria. You know, and someone told me he saw him doing his assignment while flying to somewhere. I mean, if Obasanjo could do his PhD after his presidency, why not? I have some friends who are, after their retirement, 70 years, 80 years, they are learning something. Some even begin studies, law program, different programs, things they wanted to do in their younger days. So I do not think that somebody will not do well because he or she is coming from a public university. I don't think so. You can always learn something new. And that's why we provide workshops at the beginning of an academic year and in the course of the academic year.
Okay, thank you so much. But what do you think is the current state of private universities as an administrator that you are and the professor currently in Nigeria?
I think most of them are doing well. From what I hear, I've not been on all of them. What we did when we started Godfrey Okoye University was to move around to see successful ones, okay, and those that are not doing so well, so that we should know what to do. So I can tell you from what I hear that many are doing well, or most of them are doing well. The only thing we have to, look into is the issue of fees, as you rightly pointed out. Are we creating elitist universities in our country? Is that what you intend to do? Sometimes they say we in Godfrey Okoye University don't charge as high as others. Of course, you know that. In some places, medicine, for example, about 12 million or more than that. But we are conscious of the fact that it's a mission university, and we don't want to come to a point where the university is just meant for the rich. So we try to hold the fees a bit down. Of course, we have to pay our lecturers. We can't make it so cheap that we can't even pay our lecturers. All the lecturers want to be paid well, and if you don't pay them well, they go somewhere else.
Of course.
So you find a balance between very high and very low, and try to place our fees there. And then provide scholarships for those who are very smart, but they have nobody to help them. These are things we do. Each year, over 50% are on scholarship in Godfrey Okoye University. And we'll try to do that. We'll try to get a good number of friends to support students in their desire to acquire education in spite of the poverty of their parents. So these are things we do. So I would say that the universities are doing well. Mission universities appear to be doing well in ethical matters. Because what I say is, you must ensure that students have some discipline themselves. It is good to say, these students are coming from rich homes and all that, they should do whatever they like. The tendency is that they are paid their fees and they should do whatever they like. In our university, and I think in most mission universities, you have to do the right thing. Our university is standing on the values of Catholic Church. I have no apologies for this, okay? And when you are coming to Godfrey Okoye University, that you are coming to meet Catholic values. So if you think we are too holy for you, then there are other places where you can go, okay? But I believe that discipline helps you in success. If you are disciplined, you are likely going to do well. Watch our players, the under-17 and others. Because they are disciplined, they do well in competition. Look at our girls, for example, how well they do in international competition. It's all about discipline. But if they are flying from all over the world, like the big boys that we have, they will not do well. So there is a connection between discipline and success. Get students to sit down, get them to attend their lectures, get them to avoid taking drugs, get them to wear even uniform, faculty uniform, they will do well. But allow them to do whatever they like, to sleep in their rooms, to come with their gadgets, to do every imaginable thing. They won't stop them. Remember that young people, they don't have no experience. Sometimes parents don't know that their children have no experience. They say, why don't I allow my child to do? I mean, she's not going to be a nun. He's not going to be a reverend. It's not about that. It's about the discipline the child needs to do well in this thing. And every child that does well will be grateful to the parents and grateful to
Yes. And there are a lot of cases of public universities and even private universities shutting down because of revenue, finance, and all that. What are the specific challenges that all these private universities face, and how do you think it should be addressed?
Yeah, funding is a major issue, it's a major challenge, and it is regrettable that government sees private or mission institutions as profit-making bodies. You cannot make profit in universities. You cannot, because it is continuous investment and improvement of the resources and the structure you have. Profit making is certainly not part of the project called university. TED fund, for example, is not available for private institutions. The lecturers or the teachers are not being paid by federal government or by state government and all that. So what is it? The tendency is to charge high fees. And some are in difficulty because when they charge high fees, students will not be there. So how they hold on, how they continue for the next 10, 20 years. So that's going to be quite a challenge. I hope that government will look into the issue of TED fund for private institutions, the issue of also sponsorship of students of private, the issue of payment of salary of private or mission institutions. Those we are training are for our market. We are training our young people for Nigeria. They will work in Nigeria and all that. They are not, well, of course, some of them would like to go outside Nigeria, but they are Nigerians anyway. So why are they being denied the benefits others are getting? Why are they doing that and all that? We should give space for our students, our young people, to choose where they want to go. If you like discipline, you know where to go, okay? If you like a particular program, you know where to go. If you want values, you know where to go. So limiting things, saying, these institutions excluded from sponsorship, from bursary, from payment of salary from TED fund, will not be the right thing to do. And at the end, after training them, you rush to take them into society and all that. That's not fair on the part of government. And I do hope that this mentality will change.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Prof, you've spoken a lot about discipline, and earlier on you said, discipline and success, go hand in hand. But at the same time, most people are also of the opinion that private and mission universities have this caging. They cage the students or the younger ones, and I mean, most of them do get successful, but when it comes to their social skills, as opposed to those who went to federal or public universities, where the ability to interact, the ability to have that connection with people, they don't have it because they have been in this box space for about 4 or 5 years. So do what's your response to that?
So it depends on what you mean by social interaction. If a social interaction is irresponsibility, then I would say no. Ability to connect with others. Remember that these students live in rooms. We have said no to living alone in a room because we want to create social space.
Okay.
Know your roommate, interact with your roommate, live well with your roommate. And we even have prizes for best rooms in terms of behavior, in terms of harmony in the room. So social space is already in their room. Social space is already in the classroom and all that. It's not as if they don't interact with others.
All those gatherings, all
those gatherings, unity week, we have unity week and all that. We have parties here and there, but within a space of Godfrey University. Then we have normal holidays. At Christmas, I have almost 3 weeks or 1 month. Then end of semester, I have 1 month. Long back, I have almost 3 months. You have time to interact and continue to develop your social intelligence. And I do not believe that students of Godfrey University and the other private institutions lack social intelligence. I do not believe that.
I think she meant being withdrawn.
Yeah, that's
withdrawn.
Yes. Introverted, a bit,
No, they are not. No, they are not. I can tell you this. The only thing is that we try to, help them to be responsible. That's the only thing. Because if you allow a young person to leave in the Monday morning and come back on Friday, failure is programmed already. Okay, it's already programmed. That student is not going to do well in studies. And you know what is happening. Some have fallen into the hands of criminals by constantly moving out. Okay, some have been turned into call girls. Some boys have turned into Yahoo. If you don't control this, remember, don't always forget that age. You know, they are at the age where they do things without knowing the implication. That's always the tendency that we forget that young. I tell my students, you are little girls, in spite of your height. You are little girls. You have no experience. Okay? I have an experience of almost 59 years of experience on earth, and you just have experience of 18 years. We're not the same thing. So you need to guide. It's our responsibility to guide without actually exaggerating the guiding. They have to be young people. You have young people and all that. But you have to guide them. If you don't do that, what you call social life will become criminal life.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so Professor, how important is collaborating with, universities and industries in shaping the lives of the youth and, the students at large?
It is very important with other universities because they get exposure. Our students go to universities outside Nigeria. Okay, they go to UK, US university. In the course of their studies, they go to Austria, they interact with other students. And that's, they come to understand that these students are not superior to them. It is good for them psychologically. They also have competitions. One of the very strong office for competitions, where Godfrey Okoye University is showing its weight. In every competition in this country, it's either we take first or we don't go beyond the third or fourth position. So it's an opportunity for them to interact and, and also they have this, associations of other universities. They meet with them and they do things. So we also have intensive collaboration with some universities like UNN and others, and Babcock. We have that. Then with other universities outside the country. Then industries. I've talked about town and gown assembly. Since we had that assembly, we have always ensured that our students, get attached to the industries. If you are doing law, for example, you are attached to a law firm from after year 1. From year 2 of your law program, you go to a law firm during the holidays. So that by the time you graduate, you are already a lawyer. You can draft, you can do things, you know how it works. Okay? The same thing, accounting students are attached to different banks. Mass comm students are attached to we're working now that our mass comm students come to this place, as often as possible.
Okay.
These are things. So you are exposed to your professional life if you are Godfrey Okoye University. So nothing professional will be foreign to you by the time you graduate. And I think that's one reason why our students and graduates are doing well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Now, talking about facilities, I mean, earlier on we spoke about funding and how the university comes up with the resources. But we also know that, schools, private universities, mission universities boast of impressive buildings and lovely environment. But when it comes to the laboratories, the libraries, research facilities, what is it looking like, in Godfrey?
If you want to know, you come to Godfrey Okoye University. The main campus of our university, go and look at the quality of laboratories, clean, excellent. You go and look at our dissection room for medical students, clean, marvelous. Go to our teaching hospital. So it's all hearsay. One thing is to have a room filled with equipment, another thing is to use the equipment. Okay?
Yes.
That's another thing. I've been on accreditation where you have a room packed to computers, nobody's using them. They have these facilities that are not using. Whatever we have, we use, and we keep everything clean. If you go to our teaching hospital now, by the way, we have maybe one of the few private universities with their own teaching hospital, not borrowing from others, not going to UNTH. We have our teaching hospital that is fully equipped. Last week, the first brain surgery happened and all that.
Interesting.
Yes, excellent. And the guy is doing well. So when you see that happen in a private setting, you know that they're actually getting it right.
Yes.
So there may be one or two that will lack equipment and all that. It's understandable. It's all about funding. But certainly not Godfrey Okoye University.
Okay, so let's actually talk about the admission process, the accreditation process. What is it like there?
Your admission is very competitive, Godfrey Okoye, especially in so-called professional programs like law, medicine, nursing, and all that, computer science. Okay, so if you're going to study such programs in our university, you have to be very fast. We have closed law now, and very soon we'll close medicine and nursing, computer science also. So it's very competitive, because people know the quality of what you are giving. Other programs also are doing exceedingly well. And so anybody who wants to study in Godfrey Okoye University must ensure that he or she gets admission before the middle of October. Because by the end of October, you will not find space again in the university. So it's that, and we don't try to overshoot the number that we can handle. You know, in some universities, you keep getting students, whether they are standing up during lectures or not. It's not their business. Their business is that you have admitted them. We don't do that. We make sure that we have space for the students who are taken into the university.
Now, looking at
and accreditation, all our programs are fully accredited. We always ensure that we don't start a program without the approval of NUC, National Universities Commission. That's our way of life. We can never start a program without approval. And when our programs are approved, we ensure that those programs have accreditation. All programs in the university are fully accredited. Because it will be irresponsible to keep taking students in a program that's not accredited. At the end of the day, they will not graduate. So that's it. Before we mounted medicine, we invited NUC. NUC gave approval. We invited the medical council. Medical council gave approval. That's why we're moving very fast. By 2027, we'll have our first set of medical doctors.
Wow, that's quite wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, let's look at research when it comes to students. I mean, we know that mostly it's usually the professors, the lecturers that do research papers. But what about students? Are they also encouraged to, you know, publish research papers, or, you know, what's the research looking like for the students?
Yes, they are encouraged to work with their lecturers, of course. At this stage, you work with their lecturers. And if you are doing any postgraduate program at university, you must publish, before you can graduate. You cannot graduate until a paper is accepted for publication in one of the good journals. And that's it. So we encourage publication, but you do that with the lecturers.
So how are the students taking that? Are they, you know, are they doing it?
They are. They are. Many of them have a lot of publications, and that's how they can become young professors. Yes, it is very easy for you if you have been publishing to become a distant. In our university, it's not a number of years. If you have the required publications to be a professor, you become a professor. That's why we have young professors in our university.
Wonderful.
Yes.
But there's this thing about private universities. You know, most people say when you leave the shores of this country and maybe you don't have a certificate from one federal university and it's mostly private, that most times it's not recognized.
No, it is the opposite the case. No other university is recognized in Austria and Germany as Gulf University is. As a matter of fact, if you are coming from a certificate from somewhere else, they may need to, confirm. But if you are coming from Gulf University, they don't need any further confirmation. So it depends on the country. If it's UK, if it is US, if it's Canada, if it's top countries of the world, certainly not, because these are countries that have seen our products and they have tested our food and they know we cook well.
Okay, so what is the relationship between the industry and the classroom? Are there innovations that they are bringing in, to help equip the students annually, part-time, quarter-time? How do they do it?
They are. I just finished a Zoom meeting. I was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock, but I had to go for a Zoom meeting with somebody for based in Switzerland. Innocent Opanum is one of the best architects we have in the world. He is a part-time lecturer, but he's a studio in Abuja. And he takes about 5 to 6 students of the university, to the studio where the students work with students all over the world. So the industry comes to the university and takes students to the industry and all that, and students are enriched. He told me about an airport that's been designed by one of our graduates. He has given that project to design. So a lot of that. And then we had a meeting with Mbanefo. Mbanefo is a top aerospace engineer based in Switzerland. He's organizing a competition now. But first of all, he wants to see that students do certain things, certain things that the world of industry requires. This world requires. And they can, then have a competition. And those who are successful in the competition will certainly have the opportunity to work in different big techs and big industries in the world. So we have that space of industry coming to tell us, okay, why don't you invest in this? Why don't you train your students along these lines, and we'll be able to take them. We have had hackathon competition. Hackathon competition came from Austria and Germany, where students were given specific assignments to do and all that. The first person won 6 million and all that. And these students are now part of the company, automatically part of the company. So have open doors for the companies coming to our university, telling us how the students can be trained to feed the industry and then taking the students when they graduate.
Okay, that's very lovely. Now let's talk about the medical faculty.
College.
There is one like that.
Medical college, that's what it's called.
Okay, apart from that, there are speculations that there is a permanent site for the Godfrey Okoye University. Are they moving very soon, or are you comfortable with the fact that different departments are dispersed over the area? You know, the length, or is the length correct? The distance between the department and the distance at which the students live, they are quite far. Are you comfortable with that, or is there anything, you know, put into place for them to move faster to the permanent site?
I don't know what you mean by distance. We have 3 campuses actually.
Okay.
We have Thinkers Corner Campus 1, here where my office is. We have Thinkers Corner Campus 2, down where the law faculty is. And we have the main campus of Godfrey University at Ugwamunike. For now, the main campus houses College of Medicine and Nursing, okay? They study there and they live there. When those in medicine finish their 3-year program and have their second MBA examination, second MBSS examination, they move to teaching hospital that's the training. Yeah, it is possible in the next 1 year that natural sciences will join, but we must ensure that we have accommodation for all the students, so there's no movement from here to there. Some faculties will continue to be here because we have invested a lot in Thinkers Corner over the years. There are faculties that must be here, PG programs that must be here, but 1 or 2 faculties will move. But the main campus of the university, for expansion, we have 173 hectares of land there. It's for the continuous, endless expansion of Godfrey University. There's no end to the expansion. A university can be up to 100,000 students, can have.
Yes.
So when you have about 173 hectares of land, then you are qualified to accommodate 50 to 100,000 students. And that we are indeed qualified. That is the future. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to ask something that's usually not, I wouldn't say it's not given that much attention, but it's not always spoken about. That is when it comes to student support and mentorship. What exactly is Godfrey when it comes to counseling students, mentoring them, even you know, being interested in their mental health and their capabilities, their welfare, you know, under academic pressure in the school setting?
Very good, very good. That's a very good question. We have counseling units in our psychology department. We have counseling units, but then above all, every student of the university has a mentor. Okay? Yes. Once you're a student, you have a mentor, and you have to be interacting with the mentor. And when your case is beyond your mentor, then of course, there's a counseling unit you have to go to. But you have a mentor. Nobody stands here and is not connected with someone else. So that's the way it works. So from your first year, you get somebody who is your mentor, and you're meeting with the mentor. And every year, we get a report from the mentor about you, about your performance and all that.
Each and every student.
Every student here. And if you don't have mentorship report, then you're in trouble. You cannot be anonymous in Godfrey University. You cannot. There's no anonymity in Godfrey University. We have to know you. And if you make yourself a dark horse, then we'll try to have some interaction with you. Okay?
So it's being followed strictly. All the students have mentors.
And there's directorates for it. Mentorship directorate. Yeah. That organizes that.
So what other factors do you put in measure to make sure that these people stay motivated, and then all the technological devices that are made available to them, how do they use it?
Yeah, first of all, how they stay motivated, that's one question. We have a competition we call Vice Chancellor for one day. That's how to motivate students academically. Vice Chancellor for one day is a student with the highest CGPA, cumulative grade point average in a year. And when you become Vice Chancellor for one day, you take over the office of the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor's official convoy with all the police officers attached to the Vice Chancellor will go to the hospital to pick up and bring you to the office of the Vice Chancellor. Your parents will come, your local government chairman, sometimes you're taken to the governor. Your Vice Chancellor for one day. That's a very prestigious position. Okay, everybody looks forward to it, to become Vice Chancellor for one day. And then when you become the overall best, you are put in the Hall of Fame of Godfrey University. A lot of prizes running to millions that you'll get. And you keep getting competitions where things that actually encourage you. Prizes, well, a lot of prizes. Our students win a lot of prizes. I can tell you that in a year, you get a student winning up to 3 million, 4 million
Interesting.
Yes, in different prices. You know?
Wow.
The vice chancellor for one day, does the person get to make decisions?
Yes.
That day?
Yeah, make a decision.
And it's
yes.
done.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. When you finish your tenure.
I think I want to go back to school.
The substantive version will have to decide. But you make decisions. People come to you, cause and all that. And then you make do everything. I'm not in the office. I'm not vice chancellor that day. And you address the senate of the university. You address all the students, you know. And you can go turn around the Enugu with official comfort. All the police officers of this are attached to you. Okay, that's something prestigious. So that's where to. And then using the IT, of course, they take the facilities we have. We will try to encourage students. Of course, the lecturer, the teachers in the classroom, and the different things we do, encourage them to use. We have exams that are taken online. For example, you have to, you know, like a GCP, General Computer Testing Examination, is done online and all that. So it's not a problem for students of the generation to use these tech things, you know, because that's their word. So yeah, I don't think they need persuasion to use that. You know, what they don't like is not using what can actually facilitate their studies.
That is true. Yeah. Now, looking at the global competitiveness, I mean, I would like to speak on a general note and then also specifically to Godfrey Okoye as well. How would you say that Nigerian private universities, you know, rank both in Africa and globally when it comes to academic quality, and then Godfrey Okoye as well?
Yeah, you can see the ranking. Ranking is not something. See, times just a ranking system, higher education ranking, which is prestigious. In terms of higher education system, we are ranked #1 in Nigeria from staff-student ratio. We are ranked, Godfrey Okoye is ranked #1. General ranking will still be out. You will see when you look at Times higher education, you see private universities in the first 20 categories, at least 4 or 5 universities. I got from private universities were there. So I think the private mission institutions are doing well in terms of academic ranking, staff mix by rank, and every other category of ranking. Doing incredibly well. You see, when you look at Covenant, it's always coming first in many of the rankings and all that. And our university, Babcock, and the others that are doing well. So don't forget also it's about number publications. UNN will have thousands of publications because they have over 2,000 lecturers. Yeah. Okay, so when you put everything, even if it's one publication for one lecturer, you know, you have over 2,000 publications. So not just the facility, but also publications.
Okay, so looking ahead, and we are almost rounding up with today's show. Looking ahead, what do you see and where do you see the future of the private universities, especially in Nigeria, and that of Godfrey Okoye?
I think Professor Mafiana of the NUC, former Deputy Executive Secretary, said it. The future of this country is private university. The future of Nigeria is private universities. He said it very clearly, and I believe that. I want public institutions to continue to do well. I want that because not everybody would like to go to private institutions. But the private institution must be driving everything, just like the private sector. In many countries of the world, it is the private sector that drives society. That private institution must be doing this. Private institutions or mission institutions cannot take all the students. How many? How many students can they absorb? Nigeria, every year, about 2 million Nigerians write JAMB. They need to go to university. And Nigeria grows by 4 to 7 million every year. So we need more institutions. But we need institutions that will be driving others. Institutions that can be role models for others. Where you can say, go to private Godfrey Okoye University and see what they're doing there. Institutions that can call the shots in aesthetics, in harmony, in orderliness, in commitment, in resilience, in discipline, in moral soundness. We need such institutions. Okay?
That is quite a lot. Yeah. But I mean, I hope in the future, you know, we'll have all of this pushing forward. Yeah. Thank you so much for this lovely, lovely conversation, Professor Anyeke.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. God bless you.
Come back. I hope you had a great watch. And that was the exclusive interview with the VC of Godfrey Okoye University.